सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So we had seen in our previous class that when Bhagwan brings Arjuna's chariot and places it in front of the opposite army, Arjuna has a close look at his relatives, his kith and kin, his blood relatives all standing there. And mainly these two, Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya, whom he was very close to, So the moment he sees them, then this problem of attachment, which he did not know that he even has, he had no clue that he has this problem of attachment. Actually, nobody has this clue that they are attached to people here. Only at the thought of loss of the object of attachment does one realize the emotion, that this emotion arises then, And here, there was such a big possibility of losing these people. And not only losing these people, he had to kill them. If we put ourselves in such a position, imagine, it is like huge, it is a very, very difficult situation Arjuna is in. So this emotion overpowers him. The emotion of attachment overpowers him. And Vedyasa ji writes, Kripaya parya avishtaha. Avishtaha means overpowered by. Kripya. Kripya actually means compassion, but in this context, it means the emotion of attachment. And parya is intense. So we had seen that samsara is made up of raga, shoka, moha. So this is raga, attachment is raga, and it leads to shoka. So Arjuna starts experiencing, because this is intense attachment, the emotion, so he experiences intense sorrow in his mind, because these two are directly proportional to each other. If attachment is intense, the sorrow is going to be intense. So he experiences intense sorrow, which Vedyasa ji writes as Vishidan. The word used is Vishidan in the Gita. So he is now experiencing raga and shoka, and his entire body responds to this extreme grief in his mind, Whenever the grief, the sorrow, whatever the emotional problem is in the mind, if it is not too intense, it will remain limited in the mind, and the person can continue doing about his work, The mind is not okay, but he's still in a position to do what he's doing. And when it is a little more intense, the emotion flows down to the senses, And if it is intense sorrow, then the entire body responds to it, The whole body will respond to that emotion in the mind. Emotions are so powerful. And Arjuna tells his problem to Bhagwan, and he says that Sidanti mam gatrani. Sidanti mam gatrani, his limbs, he says, are losing their power. Mukham cha parishushyati, his mouth is becoming dry. Ve patushta sharire me, the whole body is trembling. Roma harshash jayate, his hair is standing on his end. Gandivam stram sate hastat, the Gandiva, his bow, is slipping from his hands. Tvakchaiva paridayate, his whole body is burning. Nacha shaknomya avasthatum, I am not even able to stand up. Brahmati chava me manaha, my mind is reeling. So he is explaining all this, what is happening to him. His whole physical body is responding to that extreme emotion in the mind, and he tells this to Bhagwan, this is what is happening to me, This extremely brave warrior, to him it's happening. So imagine people like us, if we are put in a situation, what is going to happen to us? The emotion. And psychology calls this as anxiety neurosis. The entire body responds to this. So this problem of Arjuna is happening because of his change in drishti, the perception. This is what Vedanta is talking about. Vedanta is called Darshan Shastra. Your perception is your life. How you perceive everything is how your life is going to be. So here, initially Arjuna had called these Kauravas as Durbuddhehe. Durbuddhe is Dusht Buddhi Adharmik people. And he had come so enthusiastically to the battlefield to put an end to all this adharma which these people were perpetuating, the Kauravas. But suddenly, and that is what a Kshatriya is supposed to do, restore dharma and put an end to adharma. Suddenly his perception changes when he sees them closely and he starts calling them as Swajanam. Swajanam means my people, So there is a change in his perception from seeing dharma, adharma. He's getting carried away by his mamkara. Swajanam means my people. So mamkara has arisen, Mamkara is mine. And mamkara is always there when ahamkara is there. I and my go together. These two are those two demons, Rakshasas, which Vedanta talks about. They're always hand in hand. Ahamkara and mamakara. And Arjuna has used this word Swajanam couple of times in this chapter, He says Swajanam, my people, these are my people. Adi Shankaracharya ji does not write a bhashya on this chapter. Bhashya means a commentary, He doesn't write a bhashya on this chapter. And before he starts the bhashya from the second chapter, he concludes this first chapter in few sentences and he says Arjuna's problem was aham yesham mama yete. That's all Adi Shankaracharya ji says, So what is aham? Ahamkara and mamakara. His problem was ahamkara and mamakara. This is what is the biggest problem in life, And Vedyasa ji writes that Arjuna says, Imam Swajanam Drishtva. I am seeing my relative standing here, Whenever the emotions, they overwhelm a person, when they overpower a person, it's never because of a single thought. Single thought is not jealousy. Single thought is not depression. Single thought is not sorrow. It is build up of the thought, And Arjuna has thought about this, He has imagined what life is going to be without his people, He has given that enough thought. And so he was suddenly overpowered by the emotions. He had no control after that. He lost control of his self. This is what is self-mastery. Yoga is self-mastery. Bhagavad Gita is Yoga Shastra, Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. It's telling us how to manage ourselves and then it tells us the knowledge, Unless I know how to manage myself, there is no way of getting this knowledge. Even in the movies, they'll show this transformation in a person when he gets overpowered by emotions, how they dramatize it in the movies, They suppose a person is insulted, then he'll go on thinking about it, And the more you think, then this thought power is building up. And then it overwhelms the person. And then they'll show that that person's so restless, he's walking up and down, because the thought has overpowered him, So we know that this thought build-up is the problem. It is never a single thought. Thought build-up. And a thought build-up needs my cooperation. Thought can't build up on its own unless I cooperate with the thought, So this is in my hands, If we allow the thought, we can just nip the thought in the bud because God has given us a willpower. But if because of ignorance, we allow this thought to just go on building up, then it overpowers us, So this is giving us a clue for life that if, we don't want an emotional breakdown, we can handle this ourselves. as long as we are not being a slave to the thoughts happening in the mind, we have to distance ourselves from the mind, this thought, involuntary thoughts happening all the time. We get identified with it, and then the thought becomes very powerful, So if it's in our control, the thought build up is definitely, if I want to, I don't allow the thought to build up, the thought will not overpower us. But if because of ignorance, we just go on thinking about it, go on telling everybody, go on repeating that same incident which has happened, this thought gets roots, and then it becomes so powerful. It's like a ripple turning into a wave. A ripple is weak, but a wave is very strong. So Arjuna has allowed the ripple to turn into a powerful wave, and this thought power, this powerful thought is that powerful, It just overpowered him. And then his powerful hands, which had killed so many asuras, he was the most famous warrior. He was admired by everyone, This Arjuna we're talking about. He is having all these problems. Then these hands which had killed so many asuras is not able to lift the Gandiva. He's not able to hold his bow only, Then he says his mouth is becoming dry. I think mouth becoming dry we all have experienced in life because of fear, Especially those oral examinations which we gave, the vivas, the interviews, oh my God. That time, first experience was mouth becoming dry, And another thing is that public speech, and especially the new ones who go to give a public speech. That is why water is kept there. Keep drinking water, Yes, we may need water when we talk too much, but fear is one big factor. You keep on drinking that. First thing, you keep water there, So they say, that heart is an organ which starts beating at the time of birth till you come in front of the public to give a speech, Then at times it's total nirvikalpa samadhi, blank, thoughtless, you don't know, you knew so much, but this is how emotions overpower the intellect, Emotions are too strong. Intellect, poor thing, is so knowledgeable, but in front of these emotions, these powerful emotions, it just overpowers it, And Arjuna, such an admired warrior, is having this problem. So he's in the grip of raga and shoka. And then the third problem of samsara is moha. This is what happens. Raga, shoka and moha. So now the problem of moha will start, and we will read this shloka. It is 31. We are on 31 shloka. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava na cha shreyo anupashyami hatva swajana ahave. So nimittani means omens. Cha means and. Pashyami, I see. Viparitani, bad. I see bad omens. Keshava, he is telling Bhagwan, calling him Keshava. No, not. Cha, and. Shreya means any good. Anupashyami, I don't see any good. Hatva, killing. Swajanam, my people. Ahave means the battle. So here, Arjuna is in the grip of raga, shoka and moha, and his intellect is totally clouded. He doesn't, the vision of adharma, dharma is all vanished. He is so emotionally overpowered that he is saying some weird stuff here, This brave warrior is saying, he calls Bhagwan Keshava when he tells him. Keshava means the destroyer of the demon Keshi, as per the Puranas. And in Vedanta, all the demons are ahankara. Ahankara is the demon in Vedanta. All the demons which all the scriptures talk about are only symbolic of this demon of Ahankara. Because Vedanta people cannot understand, they will not understand you talk all this. So this demon and this and that, the stories were, Vedvyasaji only wrote those stories. So that the common man, at least for that sake, they will sit and get into religion. That is for religion. This is spirituality. So he tells Bhagwan that, and if we surrender to Bhagwan, then he is going to kill this demon in us. This Ahankara is not easy to go. You may think so, but no, this Ahankara is not easy, to remove. So this Ahankara can go when we surrender to Bhagwan. This demon he is going to kill. So he tells Bhagwan, O Keshava, Viparitani nimittani pashyami. Viparitani means bad omens I am seeing. He's this brave warrior is talking like those superstitious, ignorant, weak people, how those people talk, those cowards in life. Oh, that black cat crossed my way, Now don't go from that side, otherwise something bad is going to happen, Just before I'm going, somebody sneezes. Oh, now you don't go. Sit down here for 10 minutes. Otherwise something very bad is going to happen, Oh, the paper they see. It's Rahu Kalam. No, don't step out of the house, Something bad is going to happen. So they wearing all those rings, putting tabis. What cowards, that is not the way to live life, They say, the weak people look out for good roads and the courageous people want strong legs. You deal with this life with courage and strength instead of don't do this, wo cheek diya, wo kala kutta aa gaya. So Arjuna is seeing Vipritani Nimittani Pashyami is saying. I don't know what he's seeing over there in that battle, black cat or black horse or whatever he's seeing. He thinks that the end result of this war is going to be very, very bad, Bhagwan. No, this is something wrong going to happen here, So I'm seeing something bad which is happening here. So nimittani viparitani pashyami. Then he says, nacha shreyo anupashyami. Pashyami is to see and anupashyami is to see as per the vision of the Shastras. Anupashyami. I see as per what Shastra is saying. If you can get that vision, then you're on the track, So he's saying, nacha shreya. Shreya means any good. So Nacha Shreya Anupashyami, I don't see any good coming out of Hatva Swajanam Ahave. By killing my people in this battle, I don't see anything good happening. I'm already seeing bad omens here. This war is going to lead to real bad consequences. Bhagwan, I'm already telling you, So he is saying all this because he's in the total grip of moha now, He has forgotten the Kshatriya dharma. He's forgotten everything. This is what emotions can do to us. They're extremely powerful, So Bhagwan is just listening and then he further says, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna Nacha Rajyam Sukhani Cha Kim no Rajyena Govinda Kim Bhogair Jivitena Va. Yeah. Na Kankshe. Kanksha comes from the word akanksha, that is desire. So he says, Na Kankshe Vijayam Krishna. I don't want this kind of a victory, Na Rajyam, na cha Rajyam. Neither do I want this kingdom. Na Sukhani cha. Or all that sukh which comes along with the kingdom. I don't want this kind of sukh. I don't want this victory. I don't want this kingdom if I have to kill my relatives, Kim no Rajyena Govinda. Kim means what is the use of? Naha for us. Rajyena, this kingdom, Govinda, he calls Bhagwan Govinda. Every name of Bhagwan, so many names we've already seen, They're so beautiful and very relevant to the topic at hand, So Kim no Rajyena Govinda, what is the use of this kingdom? Kim Bhogair bhoga is all the pleasures we get out of sense gratification by the senses indulging in the sense objects of the world, So that's bhog. So what is the point of all this bhog, he says? Or jivatena var. Otherwise, what is the point of even living after you kill your people, So this attachment which Arjuna is experiencing, raga, shoka and moha, this eventually has led to the symptoms of depression in Arjuna, He starts feeling as if his life is meaningless, What is all this happening? It doesn't make any sense to him because of moha only. Otherwise, he's a Kshatriya, he knows all this, but he's just presently overpowered. Any person in depression, you can make out a person in depression from half a kilometer, He doesn't look normal only. Because he has lost all interest in life. Why should I live? Why should I eat anything good? Why should I dress up well? This is what they're thinking. It's visible on their face, They've lost interest in life because they think that life is now totally empty and meaningless, So here Arjuna is experiencing that, And he's absolutely taken away by all this, So he is telling Bhagwan, this Vedanta tells us, okay, this depression and all is fine, but that is because, why a person feels like that? Vedanta says that meaning of your life is you yourself. You give meaning to your life. Nothing in this world can give meaning to your life, It is only because of ignorance, that we get attached to this world with its people and things here. We get so much of dependence on them, so much of attachment on the people around here. And then, we give so much, we work with the heart and soul for all the people in our lives, whoever is there in our lives, we work with heart and soul. But thinking that they are giving meaning to my life. They mean everything to me. My life means only because of them. But Vedanta is saying, no, your life has its own meaning. It's giving meaning to your life, It's like, a musician thinks that music is giving meaning to his life. A sportsman thinks that sport which he plays is giving meaning to his life, All of us here are holding on to something or someone which we think is giving meaning to our life, Only, and sometimes, this object of attachment whom we are very badly attached to, they reject the person, Suddenly things have changed, the person just rejected you. Or they can even go away from our lives, Then, some people go and commit suicide because no meaning to life now. That person I was so attached to is gone. Or some people who have rejected him, they'll go and kill that person, That you ruined my life, You rejected me. And sometimes after that they kill themselves also because they know they've gone under such a grave mistake. So this is all because of delusion and confusion. Only Vedanta is saying loud and clear, nothing in this world gives meaning to your life. Let this whole world be there with all the things and being, very good, or let everything go away. Your life is still worthwhile. It is still meaningful. So we should not attach the purpose and the meaning of our life to anybody else here. People just come and go. Everything is all coming and going, it's all temporary, But if we are not supposed to give, we have to train our minds, in such a way to know that my life is full and complete by myself. Our life is like a train journey. How when we're traveling in the train, especially a little long journey, people will get inside our compartment and then come and sit there, and we become very friendly with them, and sometimes exchange food and have long chats, and sometimes play games, they play cards and all that. And you become very friendly, but then the person's station comes and he gets down and goes away. And that's it. We don't know after that who that person was, what is it, that is full stop there, Similarly, in our life, people come and go, and that depends on prarabdha karmas. Who is going to come? How long the person is going to stay, when he is going to go away. It is dictated by prarabdha karmas. So we are not supposed to get attached to people here, you live your life. Dharma Shastra says that the only thing shashvata here, shashvata means permanent here, is dharma. Dharma is the purpose of our life, righteous living. There is a goal I have to achieve, that is what is shashvata. Otherwise all this is ashashvata. So if you have to get attached to anything, then get attached to the dharma, shashvata dharma, and not these ashashvata janaha, these people who are ashashvata. So a person with the, some wisdom, he gets attached to dharma, he does his duty, and not the mortals. He doesn't get attached to mortals. But weak-minded people are attached to mortals and not to dharma. There is a textbook of Vedanta called Drishya Vivek. It's got a beautiful shloka which says, Asti bhati priyam rupam namcha iti amsh panchakam adritraya brahma rupam jagat rupam tato dvayam. This means that any object of this world, anything, even you, anything in this world has got Panch Amshikam, 5 Amshas it has got. Out of these 5, Adhatrayam, 3 of them are Brahma Rupam, Jagat Rupam, Tato Dvayam. 2 are Jagat Rupam, means Maya Rupam. So what are the 3? Asti, Bhati, Priyam. These are the 3 Amshas of Brahman. Asti means Sat, Bhati means Chit, Priyam means Ananda. Sat, Chit and Ananda are the 3 Amshas of Brahman, and Nam and Roop of any object is Maya, is Brahm. It's a really tall order, but this is what we have to train ourselves to see. Now we can take a flower, for example. Asti, Asti, Sat means exist. Asti means existence. It is existing, no? That flower is existing. So that is Asti. Only Brahman appears as every object of this world. Only Brahman gives existence to everything here. Flower Asti. Bhati. In my consciousness it is existing. If I am not conscious, nothing exists for me, no? I have to be conscious for things to exist. This flower is existing in my consciousness. Priyam. It is very beautiful, dear. Anything here is dear to somebody or the other. Even a cockroach must be dear to Mrs. Cockroach, something. Every object is dear to somebody or the other, So, Asti, Bhati, Priyam. These 3 are Brahma Rupam. And the flower, the roop of the flower and the name of the flower is Maya. So we have to train our minds to be able to see God in anything which I see. This is the change in perception, my drishti, which is not that easy, but then this is what Vedanta is all about. This is the assimilation of Vedanta. If you're able to see, you reach Vedanta, So here, Arjuna is having a whole lot of problems, and what he's saying is actually teaching us a lot of lessons, that this is not what we are supposed to do. Because this is so, we can easily slip into this. This is what is samsara, It's not easy to be away from samsara. It will suck us in very easily, because of attachment to everything here. So some people will learn from others' lessons. When you see other people, we learn some lessons. And some fools, when life gives them one tight slap, then they wake up, then their eyes open up and they see things here, Otherwise they're just getting carried away. So he tells Bhagwan, Arjuna here, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna. No, I don't want this kind of a victory. It doesn't make sense to me. Nacha Rajyam. I don't want this kingdom only. Because as per the samsaris, kingdom means, what is the kingdom if my people are not living there? घर तो घर वालों से बनता है, is what the samsaris say. बिना घर वालों का कैसा घर? ये घर का क्या करना है जब कोई घर वाला ही नहीं है वहाँ पर? So what am I going to do with this kingdom when all my people are going to get killed in this battle? No, I don't want this kingdom, he says. Sukhani cha, neither do I want the sukh, the comforts which are going to come with this kingdom, I don't want such a kingdom. Kimno Rajena Govinda, what is the use of this kind of a kingdom, Govinda? He calls Bhagwan Govinda here. The word Govinda means the one who is understood by Vedanta. Only Vedanta can tell you the real God. Nobody else can tell you what is God, who is God. No, only Vedanta will tell you. So the one who is known through Vedanta is called Govinda. So he's saying, what is the use of this kingdom? And Kim Bhogair, what do I do with all this bhog? Bhog is, when our senses indulge in the sense objects. Eat nice things, wear nice clothes, music, dance, gratification of the senses, So he says, when I will have no people of mine, what will I do with all this bhoga? Or kim jivitena va, what is the meaning of this life? What's the point of being alive only after I kill all my people, So see how attachment is leading to depression for Arjuna. He starts questioning the meaning of life and living. This itself is showing that Arjuna is a very, very top-notch human being, Look at what the other human beings are doing here. They have, do you think they've ever questioned the meaning of life? No, they just, सुबह होती है, शाम होती है, यूं ही जिंदगी तमाम होती है, वही एक रूटीन बना लिया है, like कोलू के बैल की जैसा कर कर you're doing something. What is life? What is meaning? Why am I born? No, the question doesn't come in their mind. They're too busy. Oh, I'm sorry, Gita के लिए time नहीं है. We're too busy, running around foolish moodhas, So, or many of the people will think the meaning of life is get educated, get a job, get married, produce some children, grandchildren, die and go away, And this entire drama is so stressful and so not fulfilling. The whole thing from inside, everybody is stressed out. Pata nahi kaun kab chale jayega? What will happen to this person? Anything can go wrong anytime, Anybody can go away anytime. So that kind of stress, the whole thing is stressful. This whole drama of life, But still the meaning of life, the thing is not coming in anybody's mind. Only the Shastra is telling us it is spiritual awakening, which is the meaning of life. And for that, dharma is the stepping stone. If you live a righteous life, if you do your duties properly, this door of spirituality is going to open for you. And then opening doesn't mean you will reach there. You have to study the Shastras after that. First, getting a guru and somebody to teach you is the biggest blessing of Bhagwan. He can't give you anything more than this. After that, you have to study the Shastras. And that is going to give meaning to your life. So Arjuna has declared that it makes no sense to him, all this thing, and it's all meaningless, Then he says, Yesham arthi kangshitam no Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha Ta ime avasthita yuddhe Prana tyaktva dhanani cha Yesham arthe, for whose sake, kangshitam naha, we desire, rajyam, kingdom, bhoga, all pleasures, sukhani cha, and all comforts of life. Pleasure and comforts, should be able to see the difference. Pleasures are not comforts. Comfort is physical comfort, and pleasure is the happiness out of sense gratification, Te ime avasthita yuddhe. Those same people for whom we want all this, they only are standing. Avasthita yuddhe. In the battle they are standing. Prana is life. Tyaktva, giving up. They are putting their life at stake and standing in this battle. And dhanani cha. Dhana, they've left all their wealth behind. They've put their life at stake. And they're standing here. These people for whom I would have fought the battle, So by what Arjuna is saying, it is pretty clear that this moha, because of this moha, he has forgotten the cause of this war only. Like, small children, when they win something in school, they come running and they have to show it to their parents. I got this, and the parents will be so happy. They will say, shabash, well done, and all that. That is the joy, main joy for the kid, because he's made the people who really matter in his life, he's made them proud. So more than getting that, this kid is waiting to get back home to show it to the parents. Similarly, Arjuna, was always used to winning wars, and every time he came victorious, he used to go up to Bhishma and Drona, and they would be so happy, thumping his back. Oh, shabash, well done, you did it. Now in this battle, what's going to happen? Not only will they not be there to shower all praises on him, but they have to be killed by him. It's a huge thing actually when you think about it, how Vedyasa ji has built up this, for us to understand what moha and what raga shoka can do to us. So he tells Bhagwan that Yesham arthe kangshitam naha, for whose sake I used to win battles and all that. All this, Rajyam, Bhoga, Sukhanicha, all this, for whose sake? I used to do it for my people. Like parents, they work so hard. How much does one need? But the parent is working hard all the time for the children, They want to provide for the children. They're always thinking about their well-being and future. So Arjuna was used to winning wars and bringing everything for his people. Actually, from one point of view, see, he's such a magnanimous person, not that Duryodhana standing on the other side. He's not thought about anything, So some people are just hoarding and there's never enough for them. But he was a magnanimous person. He said, I don't want all this. It was always for my people, And te me avastita yuddhe, they only for whom I would have won the war, they only are standing there. Prana tyaktva dhananicha, they put their life at stakes, because war there meant life or death, And they've left all their wealth behind and they're standing here willing to die. And I'm going to win this war. I would have won the war and for the benefit of all my people, and now nobody is going to be there. So it is very clear that Arjuna, what he's saying, he doesn't know because of moha that this war was not meant to get all the goodies and keep it in front of Bhishma and Drona and for his people. That was not the meaning of Mahabharata war. Mahabharata war had a reason. You have to put an end to adharma and restore dharma, because they had really, really troubled everybody. But now suddenly all this change in perspective, and he's thinking, what will I do when my people only are not there? It's like, a person has money, but he doesn't have a wallet to keep the money in. So with that money, he goes and buys a wallet. Now he doesn't have money to put it in the wallet, So now first Arjuna thinks, I'm working for this. I would have won the war for my people. Now I win all this and come, and then my people only not there. No, I don't want such a war, he says, he's not ready to fight such a war, Then he says, we'll read two of these verses because they're connected, we'll read them together. Acharya pitara putraha tathaiva cha pitamaha matula shvashura pautraha syala sambandhinastada tatha etan nahantumichhami gnatopi madhusudana api trailokya rajyasya hetu kim nu mahi krite. So acharyaha, teachers, pitaraha, fathers, putraha, sons, Tatha eva, so also, Cha and Pitamaha, grandfather, Matulaha, uncles, Swashuraha, father-in-laws, Pautraha, grandsons, Shalaha, brother-in-laws, Sambandhi nastatha, and also so many other Sambandhis. Etan, these people, Nahantum ichchami, I don't want to kill them. Gnatopi, even if they kill me, Madhusudana, he calls Bhagwan Madhusudana here. Api, also, even if Trailokya Rajyasya, the kingdom of the three worlds, Hetu, if that was the cause, if that was the reward of this battle, if it was the kingdom of three worlds, then also I wouldn't have, fought this. Even Kim nu Mahi, what is the use of this kingdom, he's saying. So, this kingdom of Hastinapur is nothing. Even if somebody was giving me the kingdom of three worlds, I will not kill my people. So, here we can make out how Arjuna is getting more and more into moha. He is not able to clearly see what is dharma and adharma. He's just going on repeating the same thing again. He has already taken the names of all these people in few verses we had read earlier. Again, he's repeating the same thing, This repetition which he is doing is itself telling something. That whenever a person's mind is overpowered by emotions, that person will just go on repeating what is coming in the mind, the broken gramophone record we had in good old days, when it got stuck there with the brake, then just go on repeating the same thing again and again. And we had to go and pick it up and put it, So similarly, the people who are emotionally unbalanced, they're overpowered by emotions, they'll just go on repeating same thing again and again, no matter how much you console them, because the emotions not in their control. Only kala, time, in due course of time are they able to control their emotions, Or if it's something sudden, this is what happens. If a person is mentally prepared, like there is some tragedy, we know that person's going to not stay, you get mentally, if somebody is ill in the house, that it's time to go for the person to go, then the person's like little mentally prepared, they'll be able to take the tragedy better. Or a bhakta, a devotee will be able to take that better because he loves God, and God is always there. So for him, everything is not gone, but for other people, everything is gone. Because that was the source of life, that was the meaning of life, that's gone, So Arjuna, it's definitely clear from what he's saying that he's not prepared to lose his people. So he's just going on repeating this again and again. And these emotional upheavals which people have, they express in different ways. Some people will just become quiet. They will not say a word, And some people will howl and cry. And some people will go on repeating like Arjuna is repeating. And one thing to be seen here is, Bhagwan is utterly silent. He's not said a word up till now. Because he is allowing Arjuna to exhaust whatever's there in the mind and unburden himself. Because the emotions are full in the mind, so he's letting him speak. And this is a teaching for us. That whenever anybody in trouble with emotional problems is saying something, then we must allow that person to say and not butt in and give a bhashan on sadhan chatushte sampatti, that you should have titiksha, endurance, shraddha, have trust in God and don't do this. No, just let him speak what he's saying. He's trying to unburden, he's telling us something. In this world, nobody is listening to anybody. Nobody will give time. You think people are concerned about you over here? No, they're not listening to what you're saying. The moment you say, I have this, I also did this, I have also, it is all about I. They're full of themselves. Nobody's really giving time to anybody to really listen to what that person is saying. They say that if you when you speak nicely, others want to listen to you. And when you listen nicely, others will want to speak to you. If you have trouble, you know whom to share this problem with. Because most of the people are not going to listen to you. The very few who will actually listen to you. So Bhagwan is listening here. So he's teaching us a lesson. That when somebody is in trouble, please listen to what that person is saying. So Arjuna, because of all his problems, he is telling Bhagwan again, Acharyaha, my teachers are standing here. Pitaraha, fathers. Putraha, sons. Tatha aiva pitamaha, my grandfather and grandfather-like people are standing here. Matula, uncles. Swashuraha, father-in-laws, and father-in-law-like. Pautraha, grandsons. Syala, brother-in-laws. So many are standing here. Sambandhinas tatha, there's so many of my sambandhis standing here. Etam nahantum ichhami, I will not kill them, come what may, Arjuna says, So it may seem as if he's being very compassionate, But compassion is an expression of love. And it is extremely difficult to distinguish between compassion and attachment. Most of the people cannot distinguish between this, And the main distinguishing feature is that in attachment, the person's vision of dharma, adharma gets clouded. He doesn't know after that whether it's right or wrong. But compassion, the greatness of compassion is, no matter how emotionally disturbed a person is with compassion, he is not going to compromise, violate dharma. No, he will do what is right to be done, just like a judge. He can't show compassion when a criminal is crying there and asking for mercy. They even ask for mercy from the president of, the country, when they didn't have mercy when they were committing that crime, So the judge can't have compassion. He has to give, if a capital punishment is required, that is the judgment he is going to give. But that doesn't mean that he's heartless and he's doing swadharma. That is his dharma which he's doing, So Arjuna's got misplaced compassions. He has forgotten this because of moha. Vedyasa ji is beautifully expressing what moha can do to a human being, So he says, Etam nahantum ichhami, I will not kill them. Gnatopi abhi Madhusudana. Even if they kill me, Madhusudana. He calls Bhagwan Madhusudana here. Madhusudana means the destroyer of the demon Madhu. So here in all this confusion he's forgotten, like he's trying to say that you kill the demons, but I have to kill my people, So don't compare, that's why he's calling him Madhusudana, trying to tell him that, see, my job was much more difficult than yours. You kill demons, But he's forgotten all this, that Bhagwan had also killed Kamsa. Kamsa was his mama and he had no compassion there. So this misplaced compassion is not required. So he is saying, let them kill me. Gnatopi, Madhusudana, let them kill me. I will not kill. If they strike me, I will not strike back. If they send arrows to me, I will not raise my dhanush. Like, the freedom struggle. Gandhiji's, don't retaliate, Even at that time when Gandhiji came up with this idea, most of the people didn't agree with him. Even Sardar Patel didn't agree with him that first, because that was his vision. But that scenario was totally different. We were not competent to compete with that British army, We didn't have all the weapons and all with us. So that scenario, so non-violence took us through, But this scene is totally different. Here two Kshatriya parties are standing and one is adharmic, one is dharmic, and what is the problem here? No, suddenly all this has overpowered Arjuna. He says, no, I will not kill them, let them kill me. Gnatopi abhi Madhusudana. Then he says, Apitrai lokya rajyasya hetu. Even if I was getting the kingdom of these three worlds are Bhur, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Bhu is supposed to be below the earth, considered to be hell. Well, there's a kingdom there also. There is a king there also, it seems. Then this earth and Suvaha, the heavens. So even if I was getting the kingdom of three heavens, I don't want to kill. Kimnu mahi krite? What is this use of this kingdom, the small kingdom of Hastinapur? No, I'm not going to kill. He is declared, Then निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्नः का प्रीति स्यात् जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वा एतान् आततायिनः Nihatya, Nihat is killing. Dhartarashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Kauravas. Naha, Naha means by us. Ka priti syad, what pleasure are we going to get out of this? He calls Bhagwan Janardana. What pleasure are we going to get by killing all these sons of Dhritarashtra? He knows so much of trouble these people have done. Now he's asking, what are we going to get out of this? Papa meva. We will get sins only. Ashraye dasman. Papam is going to come to us. Hatva eitan. By killing these. Atatainaha. By killing these wrongdoers, Pap is going to come to us. Look at the confusion this warrior has got in his mind, you know. So definitely we can make out that he is lost his mind and is totally in the grip of moha. He's forgotten what's dharma. He's forgotten the cause of this war. And he's telling Bhagwan, calling him Janardana. Janardana means Jan Ardana. Jan means people. Ardana is the one who punishes the people when required without misplaced compassion. Dusht Janan Ardhayati iti that Janardana. Who will punish the Dusht people come what may. No misplaced compassion. And Arjuna seems to have forgotten that he's a Kshatriya, and a Kshatriya in those days had to punish a wrongdoer, be it a criminal or the closest relative. Because a dharma has to be punished. So it was the duty of a Kshatriya. And for that, the Kshatriya doesn't get papa, he gets punya for that. That is why when a soldier is killed in the war, he's called a martyr. And people salute his body, you know. So, because he's gone and done this brave act of, you know, such a brave act he's gone and done. And so many get posthumous awards for that. Posthumous award is a Drishtafala for that act of bravery. And that person also gets the Adrishtafala, the punyas which are going to come to him for having done his duty, you know. Even if it involved himsa. But himsa means, this is, you know, Arjuna saying all this because he was very well versed with Dharma Shastra. And the first thing Dharma Shastra says is, ahimsa paramo dharma. So, but he's forgotten in this confusion that Dharma Shastra also says that dharma has to be interpreted in every situation. That is why a doctor operating on his patients not doing himsa, he's doing his dharma, swadharma. A soldier killing an enemy is not ahimsa. It is not himsa, you know, it is his swadharma. So he is saying that suppose a army fellow runs away from the war, then it is going to bring such shame to him. He will be considered a coward and he is going to get so much of papa, not the other way around. Arjuna is talking about ulta pulta here because of moha, you know. So then he says a very contradictory thing, papa meva asret asman, we are going to get papa, hatva etan atatai naha. Atitai is supposed to be a person who is a hardcore criminal. And he is saying, Arjuna is saying that by killing this hardcore criminal, Papa is going to come to us, you know. As per Dharma Shastra, an Atatai is a person who has committed 6 kind of crimes. He is called Agnida. Agnida is an arsonist, you know. He sets things and people on fire. Garada. Garada is a person who commits the crime of poisoning somebody. Then Shastronmatta. Shastronmatta is when a person has shastra in his hand and he is fighting with a person who is unarmed, who doesn't have a shastra in his hand. So a fight, you know, had to be fair. Even those days there were rules to the fight. If you are fighting a person who has got a shastra, it's a fair fight. But if he is unarmed, then it's a crime. So he was committing a crime, a Shastrunmatta commits a crime. Then the fourth is Dhanapaha, a person who robs some person of his wealth, Then Kshetrahara. Kshetrahara is somebody who grabs other people's land illegally, takes away the land. And then Darahara. Darahara is somebody who kidnaps another person's wife, like Ravana did. So Atata is the one who commits all these crimes, and Duryodhana was such a person. He has committed all those crimes. Once Pandavas were living in a wax house, because they didn't have, these people had chased them away and they were living in a wax house. So he put that wax house on fire. Only because of some timely information they were able to escape from there. Then he had tried to poison Bhima when he was young. He had taken all the Pandavas' money away. He had taken their land, kingdom away, and was not willing to give a small piece of land also to them. And he had tried to take away Draupadi also, his own Bhabi. So this guy was a horrible person. He himself saying Atataina, he was a hardcore criminal, and such a criminal requires capital punishment, Even in those days, today as per our justice system works as per the constitutional laws, But those days also they had something called Dand Niti. They had rules there, and the Kshatriya was supposed to implement them, So instead of saying that, I must put an end to all this, he's saying no, we'll get papa if we go and kill all these people. If Bhagwan wanted, he could have just told him, look here, you do what you're supposed to do, just like parents will scold the children, you keep quiet and go do what you're supposed to do. But no, he's just listening to what Arjuna is saying, because he wants him to exhaust what he has to say, and he is going to solve Arjuna's problem once and for all by giving self-knowledge. That is the only way the problems of samsara will get solved. By nothing else in this world is going to solve this problem. Self-knowledge is going to solve the problem. There is a saying, a Chinese proverb, which says that when a person is hungry, if you give him a fish, you solve the problem for one day. But if you teach him how to fish, you've solved the problem for good. So Bhagwan is just waiting. In our Shastra, we're going to read in 18th chapter that Bhagwan says, don't give this knowledge to the people who are not ready for it. They have to ask for the knowledge, Then only, then the person really wants to know, then you give this knowledge. Otherwise, in any case, it's going to be a waste. They're not going to understand anything, So Arjuna in this Bhagavad Gita transforms from a warrior to a samsari to a disciple. He is going to become a disciple, and he is going to ask Bhagwan for this knowledge, And then Bhagwan is going to give this knowledge and solve his problem for good, Then we'll see ahead, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.